Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before I start, I would like just to see if the brother Taha is there. Put your hand up, Taha, if you're there, please. Jazakallah khairan. Is Taha there? Taha is not there. Taha, khair, inshallah. We'll start the class, inshallah. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وعلى من تبع هداهم إلى يوم الدين. Indeed, all praises due to Allah. We praise Him, seek His aid and ask His forgiveness. We seek refuge in Allah from the evils of ourselves, from the evils of actions. Whomever Allah guides, none can lead astray. And whomsoever Allah leads astray, none can guide. I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship except for Allah alone, having no partner. And I bear witness that Muhammad is a slave and his messenger. To proceed, very the best of talks, beyond any doubt, is the book of Allah, and the best of guidance is the guidance of his messenger Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him. And very the most evil of all matters are the ones innovated, for every newly innovated matter is an innovation, and every innovation in Islam is a misguidance, and every misguidance will lead to the hellfire. For those who are joined me for the first time, for today, which is the day al-Ahad, which is the Sunday. Basically, at this time, usually it is the case, we give a class in Acton, in a masjid called Masjid An-Nur, and it's a class which is every fortnight. And it's to do with the biography of the Prophet ﷺ. And at the moment, we have finished the Battle of Uhud, in which we have talked about that the Battle of Uhud, even though in the minds of the people is to be a defeat for the Muslims, yet Abdullah ibn Abbas, he calls it a victory from different angles. The first angle is that it's a victory that there was, at the beginning of the battle, there was a lot of killing taking place amongst the kuffar. So the Muslim had killed from the kuffar. And number two, there was also a lesson to be learned. A lesson which is that we have learned it, that is the kuffar, basically they did not, first of all, manage to wipe off and wipe out the Islam because they couldn't do so. And they had the opportunity to do so. So it's a victory. And also, from the things that we learn from that battle is the stand of the hypocrites. The hypocrites were actually basically had been shown their reality. So the hypocrites were exposed at that time. And that is why it was a victory. So there was a lot of lessons to be learned from the Battle of Uhud. So now we're going to continue from there, from the Battle of Uhud, which took place in Shawwal, the year 3 after Hijrah, and it was 1 year and 1 month after the Battle of Badr, which was a total victory for the Muslims. So we're coming now only few months after, about 5 to 6 months after. So after Shawwal, there was Dhul Qa'dah, and then Dhul Hijjah, then Muharram, then Safar. It's only 4 months. So here we have an incident that took place, and it was a great incident in terms of it was sadness and sorrow to the Prophet ﷺ, because within few months, the Prophet of Allah had lost so many companions, and not any companions, really the companions who used to be distinguished with their dedication and sincerity, and also they were dedicated with their to make conveying the message and also memorization of the Quran. First one, which was called Ma'sat Yawm al-Raji'. Al-Raji' is a place. It's between Usfan and Mecca. Usfan is not far off from Mecca. Usfan is considered from the provinces of Mecca. So this place is a Raji' not far off as well. Okay, so basically, that what happened is that two tribes had, and that is from the tribes which is next to the Medina, and that is the tribes of Adal and Al-Qara, wanted to basically take advantage of the result of the Battle of Uhud. On the Battle of Uhud, at the end of it, there was a defeat for the Muslims. The lots of tribes on the outskirts of the Medina wanted to take advantage now because they were rejoicing the victory of the kuffar against the Muslim. So they wanted to take advantage. So what happened is that these two tribes, Adal and Al-Qara, well-known tribes, okay, they've asked the Prophet ﷺ to send them people in order to teach them so-called religion. And it was an ambush, basically, to teach them the deen, to teach them the Quran, and to teach them the Islam. So now they had to travel all the way to Al-Raji', which is close to Mecca. You're talking about more than 200 miles. The Prophet ﷺ did not hesitate because he was keen to make sure that he would convey the message. The Prophet of Allah wanted to convey the Islam and the deen. So the Prophet ﷺ had settled to their request and agreed to send people to teach them the deen. So Allah Azza wa Jal said to the Prophet ﷺ, Ya ayyuha rasul, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik. Oh, Messenger of Allah, convey what has been revealed to you from your Lord. So basically, he sent them 10 companions. So when you send somebody to teach somebody, it has to be a learner. And that's why we said they were special companions, led by a person called Asim ibn Thabit. Asim radiallahu anh, well-known, learned person. And also with him, there was Khubayb ibn Adi and Zayd ibn Dathina and Tariq ibn Abdullah. All these three companions along with him as well, and they're well-known companions. Right. So when these 10 companions, the delegates, arrived to this place, which is Al-Raji', this is where the incident was named for, which is between Usfan and Mecca. Straight away, the tribe who were there from Banu Lihyan, they are from Hudayl, this is the tribe. There were 200 of them, straight away surrounded them, and that is why the delegates, the 10 companions, they resorted to a mountain, an uphill, so they just go to protect themselves. So the kuffar, they were down and they were saying to them, the polytheists, go down and we promise you will not lay a finger upon you. Go down and we will give you our word. Some of them, okay, said, no, we should not go. And Asim, he himself, he said, as for me, I will not go into the trust of a kafir, in the custody of a kafir. So he says, oh Lord, so he's making dua to Allah Azza wa Jal, tell our Prophet on our behalf what is happening to us. And the Prophet ﷺ was told instantly. But he can't send support. As I said, you're talking about 200 miles away from the Medina. And also Asim, he made a supplication. He said, oh Lord, today I'm protecting your religion. Oh Lord, protect my flesh. Today, oh Lord, I'm protecting your religion. So Lord, protect my flesh. So they fought with them, the 10 against the 200. And they managed to kill the leader, Asim, radiallahu anh, amongst as well another 7. So we're left with 3. So 7, amongst them as well, Asim ibn Thabit. And the ones who are left, the ones I just said before, Khubayb ibn Adi, Zayd ibn Dathina, and Abdullah ibn Tariq. Those are the 3 companions who were left. Now, when Asim was killed, the wife or a woman whom she's from the polytheist, she asked for the head of Asim. Why? Because Asim had killed her 2 sons in the Battle of Badr. Because he killed her 2 sons in the battle, of Uhud, not Badr, the Battle of Uhud, she wanted to get revenge by taking the head of Asim and using it as a pot to put wine into it. That's mutilation. That's after his death, mutilation. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent wasps and bees and all these things that will sting you straight away as soon as you get close to them. Hornets as well. Okay, all of them, they came and they protected the flesh and the body of Asim like a cloud on top of him. Subhanallah. Allah Azza wa fulfilled his supplication when he said, "Oh Lord, I am protecting your religion today, so protect my flesh." Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, when he had heard what happened to Asim bin Thabit, he said, Allah Azza wa Jal preserves the believer when he is dead, just like he preserves him when he's alive. Allah the Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala, he looks after the believer, not just while he's alive, also after his death. Now, as I said, who's left now? Khubayb ibn Adi and also Abdullah ibn Tariq and Zayd ibn Dathina. Now, the kuffar told him, you're left now 3. So go down and we're not going to touch you. So they decided to go down. As soon as they got hold of them, they put the ties in their hands. So they betrayed, basically. They said, we're going to lay a finger upon you, but they tied their hands and they started to drag them. And that is how Abdullah ibn Tariq, he said, this is the first sign of treachery, a betrayal. So they wanted to push him along. He basically disagreed. And he wanted to push him, and he doesn't want to go with them. So they killed him. So we left now with 2. And that is Khubayb ibn Adi and Zayd ibn Dathina radiyallahu anhuma. As for Khubayb, he was purchased by a tribe called Banu al-Harith. Those Banu al-Harith, ibn Amir, they purchased him in order to kill him. Why? Because this person, Khubayb, had killed al-Harith ibn Amir at the time in the Battle of Badr this time. Because of that, the family of al-Harith ibn Amir purchased him, because they sold him as slave. They purchased him in order to kill him. And as for the other one, which is Zayd ibn Dathina, radiallahu anhu, also he was purchased by other tribe in order to kill him as a revenge for what happened in the Battle of Badr. Now, Khubayb radiallahu anhu, when he was purchased, he became a prisoner of war, like basically being prisoner until he's going to be killed. So on the following day, they said, we're going to kill you. So the day before that, before the death, he had asked to borrow a razor in order to shave his pubic hair. Look how keen he was to implement the sunnah, which is stemmed from the points that corresponds for the nature of mankind, al-fitrah. Then one of them is to make sure that you are clean from the pubic area. So he wanted to make sure that he's clean when he meets the Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala. So he was given the razor, the blade, okay? And then the lady whom he was in her house, and he was, of course, tied up, she had her son, and her son suddenly started to play and get close until he rolled himself, and he was on the lap of Khubayb. And Khubayb has got the blade. So the mother, she was terrified, and she looked. And Khubayb, you could see the terror in her eyes. And he said to her, do you think I'm going to take him as a hostage? I'm going to kill him? La wallah. You trusted me by giving me the blade. I'm not going to betray by slaying him or taking advantage of him or taking him as a ransom or a hostage. So when she saw that, she herself, when she embraced Islam, she said, by Allah, I have seen him when he was in my house eating grapes, when there was not a single fruit in the whole of Mecca. He said, by Allah, I have seen him, Khubayb ibn Adi, eating from grapes, yet there was not a single fruit, never mind to say a grape, not a single fruit at that time, at that particular season, in the whole of Mecca. And that's a blessing. We call it karama. They call it miracle, but it's not a miracle, it's a karama. Miracles only for the prophets. Allah blesses this for the believers. So anyway, when they wanted to kill him the following day, they took him outside the haram, even though they are kuffar and polytheists, but they respect, that this area, which is called the sanctuary area, al-haram, which is about maybe 13 miles on each side, sometimes 5-6 miles. Okay, there are some points indicate where the sanctuary area, we have 2 sanctuary areas, which is Mecca and Medina. in those sanctuary areas, we're not allowed to kill unless we're defending ourselves. We're not allowed to unleash an offensive attack. We're not allowed to bear arms in it. We're not allowed to frighten the game. We're not allowed to hunt. We're not allowed to cut from the trees except for the grass. We're not allowed to have if we find something, we call it the lucky find. We cannot pick it up unless we want to give it to the authorities, but we can't pick it up and claim it for ourselves. So that is called the sanctuary area. They used to respect that area. But they didn't want to kill him inside that sanctuary area, so they want to take him outside to the area called al-Hil. Hil means you're not in a state of ihram. So if you want to make Umrah if you are Makkiyim, you cannot make Umrah if you are a Makkiyim. But once you go outside that hill, 13 miles or 14 miles, you could come back, you could make Umrah. The places which indicate the hill is the following places, which is Arafat, Al-Nakhla, Abah Libin, Al-Ju'irrana, okay? Those are and Al-Hudaybiyah, 5 places, indicating the Haram. Anyway, so they took him outside the Haram. If some of you gone to the Mecca there, they know Masjid Aisha, the Masjid al-Tan'im. That's as well al-Tan'im, that Masjid Aisha is one of the points of the Haram, which is the borders of the Haram. They took him outside in order to kill him. Radiallahu anhu marda. Now, when he was about to be killed, he said to them, "Let me please pray 2 rak'ah." And he was the first person to make this sunnah, which is to pray 2 rak'ah before to be killed. Now, he prayed the 2 rak'ah. When he's finished, he said, "By Allah, had it been that you think that I'm scared of death, I would have asked to pray again and again. But maybe you will think that, oh, he's delaying his death. That's why he's asking for the prayer. So go ahead with it." And then he said the following supplication. Allahumma ahsihim adada. O Lord, which is a supplication of the Prophet against the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma ahsihim adada. What does that mean? O Lord, count them, these kuffar, and perish them, kill them. Allahumma ahsihim adada. O Lord, show me your revenge in these people, one by one. Now this is what happened, and then he was killed. Radiallahu anhu wa arda. That's the story of Khubayb. As for Zayd, as I said, he's been purchased by another family. It's actually the one who purchased him was Safwan ibn Umayyah. And he purchased him because he wanted to kill him as a revenge for his father, Umayyah ibn Khalaf. Umayyah ibn Khalaf, if you remember in the Battle of Badr, when he was killed, he was a big guy. And when they wanted to throw him into the Halib well, they had to take him and drag him. And because he was being stabbed and so much, his arms came off, his leg came off. It was not mutilation, but basically it was, too much of him. And then they threw him in the well. That's Umayyah ibn Khalaf, and he was a war criminal. And he used to torture the Muslims. Umayyah ibn Khalaf is being killed by Bilal ibn Rabah radiallahu anhu warda. Right, now when Ibn Dathina was taken outside again this area of a sanctuary in order to be killed, the people of Quraysh, including Abu Sufyan radiallahu anhu, before he embraced Islam. Okay, so Abu Sufyan radiallahu anhu warda, he was asking him, remember, when he was a kafir, he was not a Muslim yet, he was asking him, Ya Zayd, unshiduka billah, I beseech you by Allah, don't you like at the moment that Muhammad is in your place while he's going to be having his head to be cut off, while you are amongst your family, nothing is harming you? I mean, don't you wish now that Muhammad is instead of you now, Muhammad is the Prophet ﷺ, to be killed, and you are amongst your family, nothing happening to you, no harm? So he said, Zayd, he said, Wallahi, by Allah, I would not like for the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to be in his own place there amongst his family, to be pricked by a thorn while I'm in my family. Not just to be brought here, but even who is there to be pricked by a thorn. I would not like that. Abu Sufyan, he was so amazed, and he said, I've never seen anyone would love anyone as much as the companions of Muhammad love Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. And then he was killed, radiyallahu anhu wa arda. We've got now 10 great companions were killed. And remember, we had 70 were killed in the battle of Uhud. and that's in the month of Shawwal. So you've got now Shawwal, Dhul Qa'dah, and Dhul Hijjah, and Muharram, okay, and then Safar, 4.5 months. Okay, they had 70 were killed in the Battle of Uhud. Now another 10 to be added. It makes it 80. But still the number is not there yet. We have another even greater incident that took place, which was bringing grief and sorrow to the Prophet ﷺ so much. And that is the other one, which is Ma'satu Bi'ri Ma'una. This is the well of Ma'una. Now, as I said, because of the Battle of Uhud result, lots of tribes are taking advantage and they want to invest in this defeat of the Muslims to take advantage of it. We have tribes from Ri'l, wa Dhakwan, wa Usayya, and Banu Lihyan. Again, Banu Lihyan is the one where betrayed the ones who are the 10, if you remember, in Al-Rajiyah, and they surrounded them in 200 fighters. So what they did, these 4 tribes, they sent to the Prophet ﷺ that we want you to go and send us some of your companions in order to teach us again the Islam and the Quran and the religion in general. So even it was a betrayal that took place just about recently, within a month, okay? But the Prophet ﷺ, he himself did not basically want to stop the call to the sake of Allah. I can't just say because of the fear that maybe another betrayal that I should not send these companions to go and teach them. But he sent this time more than 10. He sent 70. So there would be strength amongst them. Now those 70s, as Anas radiallahu anhu used to say, we used to call them al-Qurra, the 70 reciters. What they used to do, they used to recite and learn the Quran during the night. And then when it comes to the morning, they will go and fetch some water and put it in the masjid. And then they will go and take some wood from the desert and then sell it in the market. And then they will buy food with it and they will bring it to Ahl al-Suffa. Ahl al-Suffa are the financially skinned from the companions, the ones who are homeless. They used to have a place in the masjid called as-Suffa. The Suffa does not exist anymore in the masjid, okay? So this Suffa, which is at the moment, it's opposite in direction-wise to where the gutter, that the gutter where the water comes from, opposite to that, this is where the Suffa is, okay? So it's a place in the masjid for the homeless people, for the people who do not have money, okay? So basically, there used to be these Qurra, they used to recite the Quran during the night. In the morning, they would fetch the water, bring it to the masjid, and also bring some wood and sell it, buy food, and bring it to those poor people from Ahl al-Suffa. Or Ahl al-Suffa are about 400 people. From them, Abu Hurairah, radiallahu anhu arda. Now, when the 7 reciters, they came to a place called Ma'una, the well of Ma'una, Bi'r Ma'una, they have sent a representative of theirs to the tribes. This representative is called Haram ibn Milhan. Haram ibn Milhan, radiallahu anhu arda. They sent him to the head of those tribes, which is Amir ibn Tufayl. He's the head of Kufr, basically. Well known, Amir ibn Tufayl, Dawsi. So basically, Haram ibn Milhan, he had a letter from the Prophet ﷺ saying to them that he should embrace Islam and all of that. Okay, and he's calling him to Islam. He's calling him to Islam, calling to Islam. So when Amir had received the person and he received as well the letter, he did not even look at the letter. He commanded one of the people to betray that messenger and straight away to go and kill him. So as soon as he had put the stab into his back and it came out from his chest, he straight away said, Fuztu wa Rabbul Kaaba, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, you know what is the meaning? Fuztu wa Rabbul Kaaba means I have won by the Lord of Al-Kaaba. I got it. I won. That means he won the martyrdom. So they stabbed him from the back with a dagger that came out from the back to the front of his chest. It looks like that he was wishing and willing for this martyrdom for a long time. He said, Fuztu wa Rabbul Kaaba. I got it. That's what I'm after. And Amir, that is Ibn Tufayl, the head of the Kufr, what he did, he called his people now to go and with the tribe of Ri'l and Dhikwan and Usayya and Banu Lihyan to go and attack those 70 companions who are we called in the 70 what? Reciters. When radiallahu anhum saw these 70, those people coming with large number, we don't have a documentary or a document which is authentic to say how many people, like in the first one, which is a Raji', that is 200 people, but there were too many, okay? All right, and they managed to, defend themselves, but not for so long, until they were killed, okay? And only one person, he was safe. And this person is called Amr ibn Umayyah al-Dhimri. Amr ibn Umayyah al-Dhimri, radiallahu anhu, he was a very athletic, athletic means a person who runs a lot, mashallah, very fast, agile. And they couldn't catch up with him, and he went to the Prophet ﷺ, and he told him what happened to those 70. As soon as the Prophet ﷺ, he had heard about this, he was in tears. Not only that, there was some Quran was revealed. Anas, he said there was Quran revealed regarding those 70, but this Quran was abrogated. Some of the Quran had came down, and then after that Quran abrogated that. From that Quran, it says, بَلِّغُوا عَنَّا قَوْمَنَا. This Quran says that those 70 said, as in the Quran, which has been abrogated, tell our people, أَنَّا قَدْ لَقِينَا رَبَّنَا فَرَضِيَ عَنَّا وَأَرْضَانَا. That we have met our Lord, and we are happy, and He had satisfied us. This was some verses which were abrogated. They don't exist anymore now. Like we had verses before regarding, for example, the person who is committing adultery, Shaykh al-Zani or Shaykhatu al-Zani, that is the male and female Zania, and that is the pelting with a stone, which was Quran. The abrogation of the verses was taking place. The verses are not there, but still the rule is still there, holding. So the Prophet ﷺ, as I said, he was in such grief and sorrow regarding those 70 who were killed. And Anas radiallahu anh documents this fear. He says, I haven't seen the Messenger of Allah ﷺ more saddened on any expedition that he had sent where they were struck with death, more than he was saddened regarding those who have been sent to Bi'r Ma'una, the 70 reciters. He stayed for a month supplicating against the killers. He stayed for a month supplicating in the prayers against the killers. So he was in the last rak'ah, after the ruku', in each prayer, Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, Fajr, he would raise up his hands and he would say, Allahumma al'an Ri'lan, Allahumma al'an Dhikwan, Allahumma al'an Usayyata bani Lihyan, Asawillaha wa Rasulah. O Lord, curse. And he had named them by names, Ri'l, Dhikwan, wa Usayya, wa Lihyan. Okay? All of them, he named them by name, and he said they have disobeyed Allah and His Messenger. So, in this way, how many Muslims that they were lost, how many companions the companions had lost? They lost in few months 150. 70 in the Battle of Uhud, 10, the ones we talked about in Al-Raji', and now another 70 makes it 150 in less than 6 months, in 5 months, 4.5 months, I would say. Subhanallah. That's why it was a big theme. Now, this shows you how the religion had reached us. And also for those who are not doing their prayers and they're not really listening to the deen properly, to show you that this Quran and this Sunnah came to you through those people who were killed in the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You have received the deen onto the skulls of these companions, onto the bodies of these companions. So they have given themselves, their souls, for the sake of conveying the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَمْ حَسِبْتُمْ أَن تَدْخُلُوا الْجَنَّةَ وَلَمَّا يَعْلَمِ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا مِنْكُمْ وَيَعْلَمَ الصَّابِرِينَ. Are you going to think they're going to enter Jannah, paradise, the garden, and yet Allah does not know? That means He's going to test you, the one who had strived amongst you, and He knows the one that is patient. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will test you. You can't enter paradise like that. That's how the companions had happened. What do we learn from the whole thing? Number one that we learn from this is that the betrayal and the treachery, this is from the manners of the disbelievers all the time. It's not from the manners of the Muslims to betray okay, to deceive and deception and the treachery and to stab from the back. That's not from the manners of Islam. And that's why you should not be wondering, you should not be astonished when you have video clips showing some people who are maliciously and deliberately, with their cough and saliva, trying to spread their corona onto the door handles of houses, cars, or buttons on the lift. You've seen them. Huh? It's the manners of the kuffar. You would never think that a Muslim would do such a thing, regardless how wicked he is. You know, when we get ill, so and somebody wants to kiss us, we said, brother, don't kiss us, don't hug me because I've got some flu, you might catch it. But these people, a'udhu billah, shayateen, they're spitting on the, you've seen them in the lift. They are, one of them during the night is his hand touching the handle of the car. A'udhu billah. Muslims would not do such a thing. They will not betray. We could see that from the story. He had the blade, if you remember, Suhaib ibn Adi, in his hand. And that baby of that woman was the owner of the house, whom her husband is going to kill him. Okay? Her son suddenly ended up on the lap of his. And the woman, she was terrorized and terrified, looking at him with her eyes. She's staring. He said to her, do you think I'm going to use him and kill him for you or have him a ransom? No. You have trusted me, you gave me the blade, I'm not going to do that. They returned the baby. And as I said, subhanAllah, the betrayal had happened as well to them when they asked the Prophet of Allah, give us some reciters, give us some da'iyah in order to learn the Islam, what they've done to them. They betrayed them and they killed them. So the betrayal and the treachery is the norm, is the manners from the ones who do not believe in Allah and do not follow His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wa sallam. Also from the things that we learn, the karama. Karama is the blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives it to those people who are believers. The karama that this daughter of Al-Harith, when she saw that this prisoner of war, which is Suhaib ibn Adi, she said, I've never seen any prisoner of war, he's better than this person. I've seen him eating from grapes. Huh? And there's not a single fruit in the whole of Mecca. How did that grape ended up in his hand? He was tied up. He can't go and shop. Well, shop from where? Mecca hasn't got anything of that. This is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can see that also the blessing, the karama, which is like a miracle, happening to Asim ibn Thabit radiallahu anhu. Asim ibn Thabit, when he said, oh Lord, I am protecting for you your religion. Oh Lord, protect from my body, protect my flesh. That woman whom her sons were killed in the Battle of Uhud, because he killed them in the Battle of Uhud, she wanted to get revenge. So she wanted his head. So she asked him, when he's dead, go and bring me his head. They wanted to go and get him. There was a hornet, and there was as well bees and flies and all of that. They were sort of surrounding him, swarming him on top of him, and they can't approach him. Allah fulfilled the supplication, and that's a karama. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will bless those believers with these karamat. Of course, karamat, which is true karamat. The karamat, which is not the one, when he has it, he will put it on TV. Of course, it's a lie. Or he will boast about it. The karama, the person will hide it. Okay? It's not the karama, is that the karama of the Sufis. The one who claim that, oh, you know, when I was during the night, making my, whatever I'm making, tahajjud or whatever tahajjud, it's not tahajjud of course, that God came to me and He took me on the angels and He flew with me and me to look around in His kingdom. SubhanAllah, all of that lies, of course. Or that person, which is a true story from the Shaykh al-Shanqiti rahimahullah. He was talking to his Shaykh in Mecca that, you know, when he was having a Shaykh of Sufism in Eritrea. Sheikhs was Sufi. So they used to learn from him, when it comes to the time of the prayer in Eritrea, the Sheikh would stay in his place and there will be 4 people with a cloth, big cloth. They'll bring it and they'll put it on top of the Sheikh. Whereas the students, they have to go to the masjid and offer the prayer, as he is going to stay there because he's a Sheikh. What does he say and claim? When the students come, he would say, oh, I was praying my Dhuhr in Mecca. Now, between Eritrea and Mecca is about maybe, God knows, 3,000, 2,000 kilometers, about 2,000 miles. Okay, so in that time you need not a rocket or a spaceship to go quickly and come back. Okay, but he stayed underneath the floor, the cloth itself. He was underneath it. So when the students come, these 4 people, they come and lift the cloth, and he would say, I was in Mecca and I saw such and such person. Okay, and of course he will make a lie, and he will have an agreement with another person whose name what he had mentioned. When he arrives a month later, he said, yeah, I saw the sheikh at that time. Look how they fool the people. When he said, Shafi'i rahimahullah, said that to his sheikh, the one from Mecca al-Hijaz, he was laughing. He said, you are fools, Eritreans. He said, why? He said, how can he say that to you, that he is having to pray in Mecca while you are praying in Eritrea at the same time? Don't you know there's a time difference? That means when you have Dhuhr in Mecca, you don't have Dhuhr at the same time in Eritrea. It could be Asr time. So you don't know there's a time difference? The people, subhanAllah, they don't really think. So the karamat of the awliya, they are true. So when we find something which is abnormal taking place, we look at the person that it happened to him. If he's a truthful person, rajulun sadiq, mu'min, is a believer, then he is from awliya ar-Rahman. He is from the allies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if he is a wicked person, sorcerer, wal'iyadu billah, and this is from the act of shaitan. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ala inna awliya Allah la khawfun alayhim wa lahum yahzanun. The allies of Allah, there is no fear upon them, nor they will grieve. Alladhina amanu wa kanu yattaqun. The ones who believe, they fear Allah azza wa jal. Also, another benefit that we learn from the supplication of Khubayb radiyallahu anhu, when he supplicated, oh Lord, count them and kill them, take revenge from them. But it's allowed for the Muslim to make dua against the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we find the Prophet ﷺ, he was supplicating against those tribes who had killed the 70 companions for 1 month, raising up his hands, oh Lord, curse so and so. Oh Lord, curse a tribe so and so. 1 month cursing those people who had killed the 70 reciters. Also, we learn from this, which is a very important point, that the Prophet ﷺ does not know the ghaib. He does not know the future. If he knew the future, he would have never sent the 10 companions who were killed in Raji' or the 70 companions who were killed in the well of Ma'una. If he knew the ghaib. So he doesn't know the ghaib. He would have never, jeopardized their lives. And Allah's Messenger had spoken about in the Quran that he doesn't know the ghaib. So it is the words of the Prophet of Allah. Allah said them, وَلَوْ كُنْتُ أَعْلَمُ الْغَيْبِ, and if I had to know the unseen, the future, لَاسْتَكْثَرْتُ مِنَ الْخَيْرِ, I would have got more khayr, more abundance, وَمَا مَسَّنِيَ السُّوءُ, and never been touched by harm. But because I don't know the ghaib, that's why the Prophet of Allah was touched by harm. In the Battle of Uhud, you know what happened? We talked about it 2 weeks ago, that he was cut and all of that, because he doesn't know the ghaib. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allah is the only one. قُلْ لَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ الْغَيْبَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. Say, O Muhammad, to them, nobody knows what is in the heavens or in the earth, the ghaib, except for Allah. Nobody knows whether in the heavens or in the earth, the unseen, except for the Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also from the thing that we learn, that is to hold on to the sunnah to the death. This can be seen from Khubayb, when he borrowed a razor, a blade, in order to make istihdad, meaning to shave his pubic hair. And as I said, this is from Sunan al-Fitra. For verily, the Prophet ﷺ said, Ashrun means Sunan al-Fitra. One of them is to trim the mustache. Okay? So that trimming the mustache, so the mustache should not be long and covering your lip. Some of those people, Muslims and non-Muslims, you find them, that mustache is covering their mouth. So when he wants to eat food, he has to have 2 spoons. 1 spoon to raise the mustache, and the other spoon to eat inside. He looks ugly. And when he eats as well, everything sticks on it. And that's from the fitrah to shave it. Also from the fitrah as well, sunnah al-fitrah, the points that corresponds to the nature of mankind, meaning this is the sunnah of the prophets, which is to shave the pubic hair. To not to leave them. And also to shave the underarms, and to shave the pubic hair, and to let go of the beard. But what does the Muslim do? The Muslim, they shave the beard here, and they grow 3 beards there. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. So they shave the beard in here, the Muslims, the men, and they grow 3 beards there. A person, and also from the point that corresponds to the nature of mankind, which is the fitrah, the nails, you should be cutting them. So the nails should be cut. You don't have long nails. Every time you have long nails, you cut them. Prophet he had made us 40 days. It doesn't mean I wait for 40 days, because some of us in 4 days will become an animal, beast. So you cut the nails, because these nails carry the dirt. SubhanAllah, these people, they purchase false nails to put them on their hands. So the person imagine a man now, no beard, long mustache, 3 beards, and long nails. He's not a human being. He should be living in the zoo. An animal, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, is what he is. He's an animal. So we find that the companions, they applied the sunnah even before their death. The last point. He wanted to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala where he has shaved what he's supposed to shave. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always will give the help to the ones who champion his religion. Okay, so you champion his religion, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you. And if you make the religion of Allah down and you fight the religion of Allah, let me tell you as a glad tidings as a Muslim brother, those kuffar who fight the religion and fight the deen day and day night and all the time, fight the Islam. It's not our religion, the religion of Allah, they said. The religion of Allah, He wanted Islam. They fight the Islam. I'm not worried, because they're fighting Allah Azza wa Jal. And I know that there is a sunnah, a universal law of these people, regardless of how much time, maybe it's my generation, maybe the generation later, maybe after generation, Allah will take revenge from them. Allah will teach them a lesson. Look in the history, travel in the land and see what happened to the people of Ad and the people of Thamud and all of those who belied Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And look what is happening with this coronavirus. Huh? Subhanallah. Trump down is asking for a prayer. He's asking for people, somebody to pray on it. You know, he's now resorting to Allah. Everybody's scared. Kings, monarchs. Okay? The ones who are not scared are actually some of the Muslims. You know? They're taking this season as a joking season. They're sending you video clips laughing. Yeah, okay, this is not time for laughing. This is the time for making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not to laugh or make jokes. It's not a joking time. So this is basically the incident of the Al-Raji' and also the incident of Bi'r Ma'una. And we stop here, inshallah. I wanted to go further. We'll talk about Ghazwat Bani al-Mustaliq or Ghazwat Bani al-Muraysi', but inshallah we will leave it for the next time. Can I ask, is there, please, is there Taha there? Can you just put your hands up or speak up, put your microphone on? I'm allowing you. Okay, he's not there. He's not there. Okay, I would ask them. Please. Can you just mute me on microphone? One of them is not. I'm trying to mute everybody and give you the. Please mute your microphones, please. I could mute all of you, but I will not allow you to unmute. Okay. If you don't mind, the ones who did not mute their microphones, please mute it. Otherwise, I had to mute it without you allowed to unmute it. You understand me? Jazakallah khairan. Right. I want now for you to ask the questions. What you need to do, just lift your, unmute your microphone and fire the questions. Jazakallah khairan. يلا حارث تفضل. I can't hear you, by the way.
Can you hear me now?
No, it's too far. It's too far. Huh?
Can you hear me now?
It's gotten better, yes.
Okay. Sheikh, I had a question.
Before you had the question, what was that you done to make it like this?
It was in my headphones, Sheikh. Connected my headphones.
Headphones are not really good. Go ahead.
Yes. Sheikh, the first question was off topic. Is that okay?
No, I'm going to say it. You want anything to do with the seerah, the biography of the Prophet? Anybody? Okay, go ahead, Harith.
Sheikh, is the lungs, can they be considered as the part of the stomach in Arabic in terms of the button? Where does that start from? Because I heard.
Can we ask beneficial question, yeah, Harith, please?
The only reason I asked that is because someone was saying that maybe the one with the illness of the coronavirus could be shaheed because of the mabtun is included in the hadith. I don't know if this has been said by any one.
Listen to me now. The shahada, the martyrdom in general, there is difference between the shaheed in the battle or the shaheed of other signs than the ta'un or the shaheed of the ta'un. The ta'un, okay, is, you could say, shahada in between the normal shahada and the battlefield. The person who is shaheed in the ta'un, because it does not enter the Medina. Okay? It does not enter the Medina. Okay, that's what it is. And also the ta'un, okay, we don't ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to lift it because we're going to be patient with it. The ta'un, okay, it has a wounds like the shaheed. But of course, in terms of praying, we have to pray on him, not like the shaheed. We could bury him without the one who's killed in the ma'raka. We don't have to pray on him. You could just bury him without prayer. But what is this one? You have to pray him, and you have to wash him, and you have to shroud him. What is a shaheed? No, you're not allowed to wash him, but you are allowed to shroud him, and you're allowed to pray upon him. It's better, but it's not compulsory. As for the other signs of shahada, when the Prophet ﷺ was asking the companions, who do you consider amongst you as a shaheed? He said, Messenger of Allah, the one who's killed in the battlefield. He said that the shaheed in my ummah are few. And he said, yes, the one who's killed from the TB, tuberculosis, the one which is the marad al-sul, okay, the one who's been drowned is a shaheed. The one who's been burnt is a shaheed. The one whom a fence falls on top of him is a shaheed. The one who dies from the cholera, from the stomach, is a shaheed. The one who dies from the woman, she dies because of her belly cord of the child that he will pull it to paradise from her belly cord. The one who dies with, even from the good signs of death, I wouldn't say shaheed, but if the person dies with sweat on top of his forehead. Now, to make this as an, well, let's say that this coronavirus had touched him and he made him to suffocate from his first TB. Okay, but it's not ta'un, akhi. You understand me? The ta'un, shahada to everybody. But this one is individual. He died through the chest. The other person died through the belly. There, you understand me? This is everybody who dies on the ta'un is a shaheed. Whereas the other one, it is a particular a disease that goes to a particular person or two people, not a whole group. So we're not going to go into the details whether, corona, is it from the lungs, is from the belly? No, akhi, the lungs are lungs and the belly is the belly. The Prophet differentiated between the two when he said the lungs is the sul, marad sul, and the belly is like the cholera, which is his marad al-batn, marad al-jab. Okay? Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah habibi. Okay, another question?
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam barakatuh.
I just wanted to ask one question off topic, if that's okay, regarding
person before you. I even asked, he asked as well. With that,
you just mentioned previously that we shouldn't, if this virus is ta'un, we shouldn't make dua for Allah to lift it. So obviously, within the dua that I've been making is for Allah to lift it. So should I stop making that dua, or?
Oh yeah, the dua. But as I said to you yesterday, I don't know if you were in the lecture or not. I said there is a difference between the ta'un and this. We said every ta'un is a pandemic, but not every pandemic is a ta'un. Okay, The pandemic is different. And that's why our Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, he says regarding the ta'un, because we don't have a hadith or an athar from the companions that they have asked dua qunut against the ta'un, so we don't do it. And even Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, he goes further. He says that anything from Allah, you don't make dua for it. So even regarding this pandemic, but we say that everything's from Allah Azza wa Jalla. So this is ibtila, this is waba, a pandemic. We ask Allah against it. We ask Allah to lift it and remove it, just like the fever, because we had the supplication of the Prophet of Allah to lift the fever. Okay, but the ta'un itself, when the Prophet said it's a shahada, some of the scholars, they say that we should not make dua because we don't have that the companions in their prayers in jama'ah, they had made a supplication against the ta'un. There are other things which are disasters, but they have the right approach to how to tackle them. Like, for example, if we have drought, so for the drought, okay, we make supplication in normal supplication, like, for example, in the witr, but the drought has a 2 rak'ah, salatul istisqa, the prayer of the istisqa. The eclipse, we have the prayer of the eclipse. So, for example, when we have the eclipse, we don't go in the 5 daily prayers and we start saying in the last rak'ah after the ruku, oh Lord, keep away this eclipse from us. No, we don't say that. But we do special prayer for the eclipse. And it's also a special prayer for the Salatul Istisqa, Wallahu ta'ala. Now, Zach.
Sheikh, I had another question.
Brother.
Sheikh, you know, the studying that the Prophet ﷺ, he was making the qunut and he was naming the people name by name. There's also hadith that some people from Shafi madhab they use of Anas radiallahu an, and around the qunut of the Fajr. If you could elaborate on that, please, Sheikh. And the other question I had just here on the topic was, in terms of shaving the private parts and trimming the moustache, what is the best, to trim the moustache or to completely shave this?
I mean, 2 questions in one. First question, we start from the second one, which is shaving the mustache. Shaving the mustache means here, and which the Prophet ﷺ, he said, حُفُّ الشَّارِب, حَف. إنهاك الشارب, nahik, meaning is like to really trim it. Now, how much to trim it? Is it completely shaved or not? If we look at our scholars, the one who died, Sheikh al-Albani, Sheikh Ibn Baz, Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen, you've got some images of them. Look at their mustaches. Okay? Look at their mustaches. How do you find it? Is it completely taken off or still there, like mine? What we find from companions like s.a.w and Waqqas, that the trimming is that they used to bring a siwak, which is a little one, and they put it in the lip, and whatever is above that siwak, they will cut it. They bring a small siwak, they put it in the lip, and then Abdullah ibn Umar, he said that the trimming of the mustache is to show humrat al-shafa. Humra means the readiness, the redness of the lip. So we show the redness of the lip, okay, that means you've done the shaving. But to completely uproot it, okay, we don't find it in the sunnah, and the ones who does it, they are the ones to be asked, why do they do it? To completely uproot nahk and haf, it doesn't mean to take it out. And that's why I said to you, if you look at our major scholars at the moment, I cannot tell you to go and look at Ibn Taymiyyah, because we don't have an image of Ibn Taymiyyah. But the ones like Sheikh Ibn Baz, he's still there. Sheikh al-Albani is still there, his image and his photograph, and his Sheikh Ibn Uthaymeen as well. Also Sheikh Abdul Muhsin al-Abbad is still alive. Notice I haven't mentioned Sheikh Salih al-Fuzan. طيب, the other question, what was the question, Harith? So second question?
About the qunut, Sheikh, in the Fajr and the hadith of Anas.
Qunut al-Fajr. Hadith Anas is Sahih al-Bukhari. But the Prophet ﷺ, he made qunut for 1 month and he stopped. And this is the qunut that we're talking about. Now, he made qunut 1 month, he doesn't say the Fajr. It doesn't say the Fajr. He made qunut. And this qunut is in the 5 daily prayers. Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, and Fajr. So he used to lead the prayer in the last rak'ah after ruku'. He would raise up his hands, as mentioned in the hadith, and he would start, not Allahumma hdina fi man hadayt. That's dua qunut al-witr. Qunut al-witr is different. Qunut al-witr is to be done before ruku'. Only in Ramadan, and the last 15 days, you could make it after ruku'. But it's always before ruku'. As qunut al-nawazil, it's after the ruku'. And nawazil means the crisis. So this is now the Prophet of Allah, he's raising up his hands, he says, "O Lord, curse Ri'l, curse Lihyan, curse Usayya, Asawillah wa Rasulah." First curse. He did not say, "Oh Lord, guide us amongst the one who are guided." "Oh Lord," this is Allah Madina fi man hadayt, is for the dua al-qunut al-witr. That's number 1. And number 2, when we said regarding the qunut of the Shafi'iyya, the ones who make qunut, they make qunut in the Fajr, okay, not depending on this hadith. No, depending on another hadith, which is for Anas himself. And that is that the Prophet ﷺ used to make qunut in the Fajr until he died. حتى فارق الدنيا. This is the hadith that Al-Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah he uses to make the qunut of the Fajr, which is hadith Anas, that the Prophet of Allah used to make qunut in the Fajr prayer until he had died. And that is, we find the people who are following the madhab al-Shafi'i in the Fajr prayer, in the second rak'ah, after ruku', they start making qunut, Allahumma hdina fi man hadayt, like this. Now, al-Shafi'i rahimahullah, he's on top of our head, he's a great scholar. But when we look at the knowledge of the scholars who came before him, or even more specific after him, we find that Imam al-Bukhari, who came after, said that Anas said, same Anas, that the Prophet of Allah made qunut for 1 month. He did not make qunut all his life. So that number 1 hadith tells us that this is Sahih al-Bukhari. So the other one, where is it? The other one is in Sunan al-Tirmidhi. And this hadith is unauthentic. The unauthenticity of it, it is because it's opposing the hadith which is Sahih, because both of them are from Anas. One says he's been making qunut all his life, and the other one, he made qunut for 1 month. And if I'm not a scholar of hadith, I will know. I will take the one in Bukhari. I will leave the other one. But I will give you more as well. That other hadith is unauthentic because in it there is Abu Ja'far al-Razi. His name is Isa ibn Mahan. Is this person, okay, he is Yarwi al-Manakir. He used to narrate and convey something which is not authentic. Because of this hadith is unauthentic. So because it's unauthentic, whatever filth has been built upon it will be dropped. That's it. So we say to the people who follow the madhab al-Shafi'i, Wallahi, we are Shafi'i more than you. Because if Imam al-Shafi'i was alive and he sees what we have seen and he knows what we know, he would have not say that there will be qunut in the Fajr prayer in the second rak'ah. But as I said, those people, they are, I would say, blind followers. They're not as much as blind followers as, for example, the followers of the Hanafi madhab. We find them are more fanatic the other side as well. And I have seen that the countries where the Shafi'i madhab is spreading, like in my country, Bilad al-Sham, very few masajid these days, they stick with this qunut. Very few masajid. Okay, most of the masajid, they don't do that. Alhamdulillah. But I hope that I have answered that question. Inshallah. If you have any other people want to ask a question, Jazakumullah khairan, please go ahead. There's a chat here. If somebody was willing to look at the chat, because, okay. Sorry, Sheikh. Right, I can't find any questions here. Which book do you recommend parents to teach children aged between 9 to 14 every day for 15 minutes? Example, 40 hadith by Imam al-Nawawi. No, I urge every parent to teach his children from the 9 years old Islamic studies like this called for the children. This is the series by Amina Bilal Phillips, and it's from 1 to 4. Start with number 1. If you could start from the age 10 or 9. Okay, book, and that one has got everything in it. It's got hadith, it's got aqidah, got Quran, got fiqh. That's what all I need. So it starts with aqidah, then after that Quran, some surah and interpretation, and then hadith, then interpretation, and then after that the fiqh of salah, fiqh al-tahara, fiqh al-wudu, and it goes all the way to book level number 4, that fiqh. See, that's number 2, that's number 4, and even number 4, some of those who are adult at the moment, they know a lot of things inside it. Even at the end of it, there is a chapter called inheritance. Okay, I would urge you to learn, to teach your children with that book, inshallah. Now,
Jazakallah khairan, Shaykhi. Is there a preferred or virtue in terms of shaving the armpits or plucking, or it's the same?
The armpits, Prophet ﷺ, he mentioned that is plucking the armpits. But that is not to say that this is a must, but the natural act is to pluck it. But some people, if they pluck it, it hurts them. It does hurt them. Okay? And also it shows as well that shaving the pubic, of course, plucking the pubic, it will hurt them. So shaving is much, much better than plucking. But in the underarms, if you pluck, and you're the ones who pluck, they notice when they pluck that when it comes out, it does not come out like spiky. It comes out soft. Okay? Now, the way to do it is with hot water or steam. You have a steam bath, sauna, for example. Okay? So the sauna, the hair will come very easily, come out. Okay? As for the pubic hair, I don't think any person would go so crazy and he stop plucking it. You're gonna, it's gonna hurt him a lot. So it will be shaving. That's the shaving there. Okay? Wallahu ta'ala. But if you can't do it the way that you can. Some people use.
How is it that you actually pluck the arm?
Some people use as well. Sorry, cream. The cream. That cream as well is very good. Now.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Very good question in terms of cutting your hair. I've read a hadith. I can't remember from the top of my head in terms of doing, like a step cut. You're imitating. Is imitating the Jews? If you cut it, the side short and the top longer, is it better just to cut your whole hair one blade, like when you're going over it?
Talking about al-qaza'. Al-qaza' means to shave one side of the head and more than the other side in a way that is distinguished. Okay? But if the levels of the hair is not really showing that much, it's no problem. The best thing is to cut it, like you said, one blade, but no problem if the difference between the blades is not that much to be noticed. The Jews were not allowed to imitate, okay? Otherwise, you've seen them, like they got the hair coming here, and then they got no hair here, and then here, and some hair here. That's the Jews, okay? And this is called the qaza'. But the problem is not the qaza'. That when the student of knowledge answer this question, they need to think about giving the answer in full. It's nothing to do when we say that okay, it's not qaza' if you cut it with blade here, and let's say, for example, number 2 here, and then leave it number 4 there. Like some of the people, especially the youth, they've got like an umbrella, basically, okay? Like a bush on top of the head. I would say it is not to do with the qaza' here. It's to do with imitation. Imitation of the kuffar. Subhanallah. What the fashion says in the trend, they'll follow it. We've been losing our voices, telling our, please grow up a beard, grow up a beard. Prophet ﷺ, they don't grow a beard. When a kafir person grew his beard, look at him. When I came about 5-6 years ago to the country, wallahi, the one who was in the board said to me, Sheikh, don't worry about your beard now. We're not going to question you because all the youth have got beards now. They're not following Muhammad ﷺ. They're following what? Don't know who's that person they're following. Yeah. Of course, they don't shave their beard and they don't shave their mustache and they look like the beast I told you, I talked about. So the person needs to follow the Prophet Muhammad. Okay, so those people who shave this trend, they are following the kuffar. And the Prophet of Allah, he had cursed the one who imitates the women, the ones who is as well imitating the kuffar, the disbelievers. So you're not supposed to imitate the kuffar. You're not supposed to imitate the women. Okay, you're not supposed to imitate the people of the misguided, the ones whom Allah's wrath is upon them. Okay, so you're not allowed to imitate those people in their qaza as well. All of that is haram. It's not allowed. Okay, so when a person does this, because I don't think the Muslims are doing like the Jews now. They're doing something else, which is like they said, the grade, but they follow the trend. Okay, if they are not following the trend and they want just to cut in a way that they make it really lighter here because of it's better for them because they don't want sticking out like this way. Problem, inshallah. But you know what I'm talking about, which is haram, the fashion and the trend that they use to follow these days. Now.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam to barakat.
Sheikh, the pubic hair, how often is it necessary to remove it every week, or someone can do it every other week, or things like that?
The maximum is 40 days. The maximum is 40 days. Okay?
So okay, sir.
Now.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam to barakat.
Alhamdulillah. Sheikh, with regards to imitating the kuffar, can you just clarify what this is in regards to? Is it specifically their religious acts, or is it also just their general things like the clothes they wear? Because if that's the case, then we imitate them in a lot of things that you don't find originates from the Muslim, but originates.
Give me an example. You imitate them in lots of things. Give me an example.
Just maybe the way we decorate our homes, or just very.
If I come to somebody's house and he's been decorated, would I say he's a kafir or a Muslim?
No, you wouldn't say that. No.
Okay. So give me another example. You don't have examples. See,
like the clothes, for example, the jeans. I'm sure this image from.
Akhi, if somebody's putting the jeans on, okay, the jeans on. There is two things in the jeans. If you're telling me a baggy jeans, halal, no problem. But the jeans you're talking about, the one that you need to jump from the 5th floor in order to get into it. So, okay? That's haram in itself without imitation of the kuffar because you're showing your aura.
Okay, what about the baggy jeans coming from the kuffar?
No problem, because the baggy jeans are dressed up by the Muslims. It's not distinguished to the kuffar now. Understand that? It's like the jacket. Prophet ﷺ had put the jacket called Rumiya, Jubbatun Rumiya, from Rome, from Christians. Jacket, you know the jacket? Suit.
Yeah.
Prophet had put that. It's not to distinguish, because it's not distinguished. That does not distinguish the role. It is now became normal amongst the people. Understand me?
Okay, I see. So it's only when it's distinguishable that this is unique to the kuffar.
Unique to the kuffar, unique to the ones who are not good. Imagine that you show me, you see me as a person who's giving you a talk now about the deen. I've got this bush, okay? No hair here and a hair in there, like a would you listen to me about the deen? You don't say there's a person on the deen. The person is like playing around. He's not a deen person. So that's what I'm talking about. No.
Okay. Jazakallah.
Jazaka habibi.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Just one quick question. In regards to these lessons you're doing online, because I had issues with my app. Are they being recorded and will they be provided for us to watch later?
Okay. Yeah. From yesterday, I started to record. So I recorded yesterday's talk, and I've been trying to compress it as much as I can because it was a big file, and I managed to do that. So you will be receiving it if you have your number with me. Okay, I will send it, or I will put it as a link onto the videos which I'm doing. So this, for example, is going to be recorded, and I will, inshallah, send it to those who are being sent the timetable of my classes. So if your number is not with me, you take it from somebody else. So I'm going to send it now to about 600-700 people. In a minute, inshallah. In about 2-3 hours, you'll find all these lectures being sent to you.
Okay, Jazakallah khair.
Jazaka habib. Now, any other questions, Ikhwani? Salam wa barakatuh.
According to the schedule, Sheikh, رضا معك Sheikh. Salam alaikum.
تفضل.
According to the schedule that you sent today, you said there is a talk at 7:30. Is it still on? Even though the Maghrib is at 7:30.
The talk will be, for example, the 7:30. You know that the time had changed to the hour. So I will not make the time of the class on the time of the prayer. So let's say, for example, 7:30 is the Maghrib, 7:35 the Maghrib. I will start, for example, at 7:50, so 8 o'clock. Okay, so I will put the channel on, and I will write that the class will start. Like today, for example, supposed to be starting 7 o'clock. 5 o'clock. I said 10:05 because I was praying my Asr. Okay, so that is why we say this talk will be the 7:30. Does it say 7:30 tonight or 7 o'clock? Does it say 7:30 or 7 o'clock, ya Sheikhi? Rida.
Salam alaikum, Sheikh. 7 o'clock it says. 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock it says. This doesn't say.
عفوا. أعتذر.
7 o'clock. So it's going to be before Maghrib. You understand me? So we will start and we will stop after 1 hour, and that is 7:45, and then we'll do the Maghrib and continue, inshallah.
Barakallahu fikum, Sheikh.
Any other questions, inshallah?
Sheikh, assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, the graduation ceremony in these countries, universities, after the graduation, people are wearing the dressed up. Is it Allah permissible at all?
Well, basically, as well, this is a clothes that you put on, of course, for a particular time, and you are trying to imitate the kuffar in the way that they are graduated. It is Islamically, if we have an Islamic university, we're not allowed to do that. Alhamdulillah, the Islamic university doesn't do that. But because of what I've spoken about yesterday, inferiority complex, that means we are feeling down, okay, and we need to compensate ourselves from the civilization of the others. We imitate those disbelievers in everything. Look at the solicitors, how they're dressed up when they go to the court. Look at the judges, even they borrow this sheep hair, they put in the sheep hair, of the white one, on top of their heads, in order to judge, like the British judges as well. And you know that what is the, as well, the reason they dressed up in black cloak? Why do they do that? Okay, why do they put a black cloak? There's a history behind it. If you read it, why they was dressed up in black cloak. I'm not going to go into it, but I'm just saying there's a history behind it. So we're trying to imitate them because we're weak. We are Muslims, weak. So that we are leading the generations. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس. No, we're not. We're not anymore. Because we are not holding to the deen which made us كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس. Because of this weakness, we are trying. We imitated everything. We imitate them in everything. Wallahi, in everything. Birthdays. We do the birthdays, the same thing. They in everything. Subhanallah, even coronavirus. Okay, some of the countries that are so far from corona, but because they saw the West had done curfew or to do a curfew. There's no cases there, but they want to follow. Same thing. Allah al-Musta'an. So نسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يقوي شوكة الإسلام والمسلمين. Right. The question, the last question, we're going to finish exactly 6:30.
There's a question in the chat about Jumu'ah, Sheikh. What is the proof it can be prayed in other than the masajid?
What is the question which says what?
In the chat.
I can't see. Go and read it for me. What does it say?
What is the proof that you can pray Salatul Jumu'ah in other than the masajid?
Where is the proof that we can pray? This is, first of all, I discussed it yesterday. I discussed it yesterday. Okay? And I said, and I talked about it. And I said, verily, there is no proof to say that it should be in the masajid. The athar from Abu Hurairah radiallahu an, it is not in the hukm al-marfu'. That's number one. We can't say it. Number two, we know that the companions had done Jumu'ahs, for example, in Bahrain before the first masjid, which was Masjid Imra ibn Abdul Qais. And the first Jumu'ah was made, and the first Salah was in Juwatha. Qari is called Juwatha. Okay? But we know that the companions had done Jumu'ah before that masjid was built. And the Prophet of Allah, he said, مَا مِن ثَلَاثَةٍ فِي بَدْوٍ أو في غيره. There's no 3 people who are in Badu. Badu means like in the desert. They don't make Jama'ah, Jumu'ah in one of the narrations. In this shaitan will be استحوذ عليهم. He will overcome them. So that is the 3 making Jama'ah and Jumu'ah in the desert. Where there's a masajid there in the desert? No. So they make Jumu'ah and Jama'ah where they are. Our Shaykh al-Albani rahimahullah, during the Jumu'ah in the Medina, he used to take the students in the morning and they go for a picnic in the mountains, okay? And the Haram, you know, Medina Haram is there. And he used to make Jumu'ah there in the mountains, where the people, they come to the Jumu'ah, and one of the students of the Shaykh, he would make and deliver the Jumu'ah. Allahu ta'ala a'lam. سبحانك اللهم بحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Just before I leave, I would remind one of the sisters, she had put a hijab sort of caricature there representing her. I would like, inshallah, to just point out, Jazakumullah khairan, that image should not be there, because that image which will bring fitna, and everybody's looking at that image and who's that sister. Okay, so if that sister, inshallah, next time she will not put such an image like that. Jazakumullah khairan wa ahsanallahu ilaykum. Subhanakallah bihamdik. أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم.